Hi, welcome to Your Future, Your Finances. I'm your host, Brian Kuhn. Today we're talking about estate planning and planning for special needs situations, a very important topic for some families. My guest is Jill Snyder of the Law Office of Jill A. Snyder, LLC.
Thank you for having me.
Sure, welcome to the show. Tell us a little about your firm and background to start.
Sure. I've had my own estates and trust practice for the last 10 and a half years. Been a lawyer for 20, and I focus exclusively on estate planning, small business planning, and probate. And today I'll be talking specifically about special needs planning.
So special needs, this is when you have perhaps a disabled child or a family member that has certain circumstances. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, and it's really important for families who are in that situation to plan ahead. In this situation, it's common that a child won't be able to support himself independently, may not be able to live independently, may have costly medical or non-medical needs. And what's most important, I find, to the parents is they just want to make sure that their children can live lives with dignity, with the ability to enjoy themselves, and to make sure that their children are cared for. And that's a big concern as the parents age.
So what are some of the steps the parents take besides coming to see you?
I say that the three main steps to take is first talk to your family members instead of trying to guess who would be open to helping and who wouldn't be open to helping. Have the communication so that you can feel confident knowing that you've selected people that could help your child who are able and willing to do so. So that's number one, make sure that your family support is in place. And if you don't have family, then close friends. There are also organizations if that's necessary. The next is to speak to a financial advisor, and the financial advisor can help project an individual's lifetime financial needs and whether you have sufficient assets to be able to fund them or whether to consider options like life insurance to make sure that there's money available after the parent is gone. And then third, of course, is to consult with an attorney for two primary reasons. One is to determine eligibility for government benefits that your child may be entitled to. And then the other is to discuss the possibility of special needs trust planning.
And everything that you mentioned, that's while the parents are still living and doing the primary work, but under a scenario where they might not always be there. Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly why, because no one lives forever, and you need to be realistic about it, and especially when you have a child with special needs, you need to be proactive in planning ahead and make sure that there is someone and something in place to make sure that your child is still cared for in your absence.
So you mentioned something called a trust, so it's called a special needs trust. So what is that?
Yes, a special needs trust is a special kind of trust for individuals with disabilities, and the purpose of a special needs trust is to make sure that there's money available for an individual's supplemental needs that won't disqualify him or her for government benefits. And as long as the disabled beneficiary doesn't have the ability to force a distribution from the trust, then neither can creditors and neither can the government, and that way it's not considered to be an available resource when the government is determining eligibility for things like SSI, Social Security, or Medicaid.
So you were talking about government benefits. Can you elaborate on some examples of those and what they do?
Sure. SSI is a benefit that provides income to a disabled individual, not based on work history, but it provides a certain set amount per month that's supposed to be used to care for your basic needs, the food, clothing, shelter. And then there's Medicaid that will provide for your medical needs. The important thing for both of these, though, is that they have income and asset eligibility requirements. So if you have too many assets, you're not going to be eligible for these benefits. That's where special needs trusts come in so that a person can still get the supplemental security income and can still get Medicaid care and then have available funds there for the fun stuff that's not covered by the government benefits, for all of the extras or the non-necessities.
And there's actually, as I understand, different types of special needs trusts. So there's the category of special needs and then specific examples?
Yes, there are subcategories. The two primary types of special needs trusts, one is a self-settled special needs trust, and the other one is a third-party special needs trust. A self-settled trust means what it sounds like. It's settled by the individual with disabilities with that individual's own money. That most commonly occurs when an individual has a personal injury settlement and becomes entitled to funds. And in that case, their money can be put into a special needs trust. The big difference between the self-settled and the third-party trusts, and third-party trust means it's funded by money not belonging to the individual, like grandparents, parents, other family members. And the big difference is if all of the money in the trust is funded from third parties, there's no government payback upon that individual's death. However, if there is a self-settled first-party trust, upon the individual's death, Medicaid can come and get reimbursed out of the individual's estate for all expenses paid toward the medical care of the individual.
The disabled person's
Yes,
death.
exactly.
Their death, not the person who provided the funds.
Correct. It is irrelevant once the person provides the funds.
Yeah.
It only matters whether it's first party or third party, and the trust terminates upon the death of the disabled individual. And then there's a sub-trust within that called a pooled asset trust. And pooled asset trusts are commonly used when there aren't a substantial amount of assets available to fund the trust. And it's a way just to be more efficient and to have assets of multiple individuals pooled together for investment purposes, although each account is still separately accounted for the benefit of disabled individuals. And it has the same qualifications for first party and third party, meaning that if it is first party money, the disabled individual's money, there will be a Medicaid payback. If it's third-party money, there won't be. But because these are operated by nonprofit organizations, there's typically another option where the money can stay with the nonprofit organization to assist other people with special needs.
Sounds like a lot to look into. Good thing they have somebody like yourself to help them out.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. We're talking with Jill Snyder, a state attorney and special needs attorney in the Maryland area. We'll be right back. You're watching Your Future, Your Finances.